Good evening. You're listening to the Hour of the Time. I'm William Cooper.
I really do. Even though, I didn't protest the war. I was for the war. I was a kid. My dad was in Special Forces. He got out before he had to go. But I just want to tell everybody, I appreciate them going and not running to Canada and doing what their country called them to do, even though it may have been wrong. But even though fighting communism, I don't believe it's wrong. But a hypothetical question. What do you think, or what time do you think, that after seeing your website tonight, first time I hit it tonight, and I'll tell you what, I think it's the best website on the internet. What's the time frame, do you think?
Time frame for what?
For the trouble starting here.
Well, the trouble actually started many years ago.
Oh, yeah,
and
I understand that.
We're already a part of world government. It's already been formed, and under Article 6 of the Constitution, by misinterpretation, the United States really doesn't exist anymore, except as a vassal state of the United Nations.
Yes, sir.
And so, people keep asking me, when's it going to start? It started in 1945,
yes,
and it's just been getting worse since then. The question is, when are you going to draw the line and say no more, as I did a long time ago?
I understand, and I tell you what, I admire you for that. But I think the problem with Americans today, and me personally, with 4 kids sitting here, and I have to provide a future for them, most of us don't want to be Patrick Henry.
I understand that 100%. Do you think it was easy for me to send my family out of the country?
No, sir.
Do you think it was easy?
I admire you for that.
Do you think it was easy for me to do what I have done, knowing that at some future date it was going to come down to me personally standing my ground on my doorstep and maybe having to sacrifice the lives of my family? I was lucky that I was able to send them out of the country.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But you have to go back and read history. You see, George Washington was faced with the same decision. So was Benjamin Franklin. So was Thomas Paine. We're just not talking about the man that you cite.
Yes, sir.
Here. We're talking about an entire generation of men, many of whom died, many of whom lost limbs, many of whom lost family members, lost their property, they suffered terribly.
Yes, sir.
And for your information, they only represented about 5% or less of the entire population of the 13 colonies at that time. Most of the population was either on the side of King George or just didn't give a damn.
Yes, sir. I have read that. In fact, I told a friend of mine, he said, we may have a chance after all then.
That's my point, exactly. And look at the Chechens.
Yes,
they're fighting one of the largest armies, one of the most ruthless armies, one of the most ruthless nations and military forces on the face of this earth, and they're kicking their ass.
Yes, sir.
And the Afghanistanis did the same thing. They kicked their butts.
Yes, sir. It's like, I don't know if you said it the other night, but it's like take away their computers and they're lost.
That's right. These are techno-brats.
Right.
The United States military today is an all-volunteer force of socialist techno-brats.
Yes.
And I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of you out there may not understand this, may not believe it, but we can kick their ass really easy.
Yes, sir. I agree with you 100%. I'm growing up as a kid hunting in the woods of North Carolina and wind up in the deep woods and the sun set on us and we get out by moss in the back of the trees and fighting, everything that was crawling up against us. We can do it. It can be done.
Yeah.
We just go back to our forefathers who fought the Second Revolution.
But first, you see, the only way that we can win is if we're willing to die for what we believe in. See, because they're not. They're not willing to die for that because the only reason they're in this all-volunteer force because they're little socialists that want the government to take care of them. Yes. They can't make it out in the real world.
And the authority. I think a lot of them, the reason we have so many people getting into law, and we're having a bad time here in North Carolina. A lot of people want to just, I got to be in law enforcement. I got to be a sheriff. I've got to be a policeman. I've got to go to work for the government. It's like
it's socialism.
Yes, sir.
They can't make it anywhere else.
That's right.
And they know that once they get hired by any government organization, it is so hard to fire them, it's almost impossible.
Oh, absolutely. Well, what we say around here, the reason why I have so many government employees is because you can't get a job in the real world.
It's true.
But it's badge-itis. A good friend of mine who spent many years on North Carolina Highway Patrol, badge-itis.
The only people who have badge-itis are insecure children who never really grow up. And they got to have that gun on the hip to feel like they're a man, because without it, they're not.
That's right. Well,
and it's the truth. Now, I'm not talking about every police officer.
Oh, no, sir.
I'm not talking about every man in the military. There are some really good people out there who really do have the best intentions.
Yes,
but I know from talking to many of them who call me and tell me about their experiences that they are so disillusioned that it's almost impossible to be a good police officer or a good military person in this world today.
Yes,
because
they're leaving.
Yeah, they are.
They're leaving
They're either leaving or being forced out.
That's right. You're absolutely right. I come from a long line of law enforcement, and everybody asks me. My granddaddy was a constable here in North Carolina before they had deputy sheriffs. My daddy was a deputy sheriff. My cousin was a deputy sheriff. And everybody asked me, with my mentality, why aren't you in law enforcement? I look at it this way. If I catch a man committing a crime, he's gone. And I know I do not need to be in law enforcement.
Yeah.
And I see so many kids, all these guys around here that are now in law enforcement, they were the punk kids in school that everybody picked on, and they never had any. They weren't the football team.
Yeah,
they got the high dates, and now they're walking around with a badge and all puffed up like a little bantam rooster.
Yeah, well, I hate to say this, but it's true. They never felt like they belonged. Right. They never felt like they were real men, and that gun became their penis.
That's right.
And now they're real men. Woohoo! Look at me, got a gun, boy.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the whole wrong idea of the subject of law enforcement.
Absolutely. It's absolutely backwards.
You used to, if there was a sheriff that rode around, in your area of the county, you knew him by name. They came up, they spoke to you. Nowadays, they ride around, they're running 70 miles an hour and 45, and they're big shots. They're country club type.
I know. But remember now, this doesn't apply to all of them. I know some of the best men that I know in this whole world are police officers.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
One of the best men in the entire state of Arizona is a member of the Department of Public Service, which in Arizona is the Highway Patrol. He put out a tape that almost every patriot in this country has and listens to. And
Jack McLam?
No, not Jack McLam. Not at all. Nope. His name is David Mann.
I've heard it.
He doesn't like it when I say his name on the radio, but I'm going to do it anyway because he should be very proud of himself, and I'm very proud of him. And every patriot in this country who's listened to that tape that he has made is proud of him also. He's a real patriot.
Yes, sir.
And, he's been in the Arizona Department of Public Service for his entire career and never had a promotion, not once. You know why? Because he's a good man.
Yes, sir.
He should be at the head of the Department of Public Service in Arizona.
He's not scratching anybody's back.
Well, he just does his job properly. He does it right. And when you do that, and you do it the way it's supposed to be done, looking out for people's rights rather than infringing on them, not kissing up to the well, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, sir.
Well, Dave never did any of that. He just
hate a butt kisser.
Yeah, I can't stand him.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I grew.
In fact, when I see him, I give him a real butt to kiss.
That's what most of the time I'm telling folks out here. Just kiss my white Southern butt. I'm just tired of it. It's just the idiocy of all of it, the way they're pushing this new world order down our throats and everything. And I try to talk to my neighbors, and the folks like, hey, look, you're crazy. I mean, and you give them proof, and you say, oh, this is Trump up, And it gets to the point, they're calling you Chicken Little. The sky's falling. The sky's falling.
Well, the sky is really falling now. And a lot of the people who used to call me names and say I was Chicken Little and I was stupid and I was some freako, weirdo, right-wing conspiracy wacko nut are now calling me up and saying, Bill, I'm so sorry that I ever thought that way about you because I can see it happening right in front of my face now.
I know. When I first started listening to you, it's been years ago, I caught you, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning on the weekend. And everything you said then has come to pass, and that's been a long time ago.
Yeah, everything I wrote in my book has come to pass.
Yes, sir. I have got to do that, too. But it's been nice talking to you. God bless you. Keep up the good work for us.
Thanks for calling. God bless you, too.
Help all of us people and get up there and take the stand, for Patrick, like Patrick Henry did. We've got to.
Yeah, and help us fight racism. Next time you say something like that, bend over and say, kiss my black ass.
Yes, sir.
And you'll help us all out.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Good night. 520-333-4578 is the number. If you've been to the website lately, which is williamcooper.net, it's just in our face now. I mean, they're not even attempting to hide it. Just the other day, the Speaker of the House, the Republican Speaker of the House, declared publicly the agenda of the Republican Party. We want a global world, he said, which means one world government. Good evening, you're on the air.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, the other night you were talking about, what people can do to inform people.
Uh-huh.
Well, I just want to let you know that there's some guys out here in southwestern Pennsylvania. The last 5 years we've held a UN flag burning.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
the last 2 years.
I used to advertise that on the air.
We had a Blue Beret practice shoot.
Yeah.
Where we'd the last one, it was pretty funny. Me and my other friends, we would dress up as jackbooted thugs.
Uh-huh.
With Kevlar helmets and everything, and we had a checkpoint at the gate. You should have seen some of the look on the people's face.
Nazi jackbooted thugs.
Yeah, exactly. And we've also tried to educate people on the Constitution. We passed out the Citizens Rule Book. We probably went through about 2,000 to 3,000 of those.
Excellent. That's wonderful.
In the area, and also some of the Y2K expos they had out in the area. Although we didn't push the Y2K.
By the way, before you go on, I want to stress to people how important the Citizens Rule Book is. I have a copy right here.
Yeah, it's a great book.
In fact, I carry a copy with me all the time, wherever I go. I have a copy in the studio. I have a copy in every car that we have. I have a copy in my getaway bag. And really.
Yeah, we're the same way pretty much here.
Good. And
I'm a mail carrier, and I even carry one in my mail sack to argue with some of the college professors in the area. So I try to educate them, the low-life mailman talking to the higher elites.
Yeah, that must really frost me.
And it I guess they respect me because I know my material pretty well. I mean,
No, they respect you because if they don't, they won't get their mail.
Yeah.
Can't piss this guy off. I won't get my mail. I got to listen to him. No matter what he says, I got to listen to the dude.
But we've used a lot of your material, your treason documents, stuff like that, to educate people. And we get a really good response.
Wonderful.
A really good response from people.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that.
I just wanted to call and let you know that there are some people out here that are trying to make a difference.
Oh, I know there are. But the numbers are not large.
I understand that.
And the reason I said what I did earlier is that they don't have to be large. Yeah. All we need is 5% to win.
Well, we were at Lexington last year, and I'll tell you what, it was really, I got a really good feeling out of it just from being there. I had like a spiritual connection with the place. It was kind of like, how you hear some of the guys that go to Gettysburg, and they feel the ghosts or, whatever, that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's true, but I just felt really connected with the place.
Well, I've got to tell you, I've been to Gettysburg, and I don't know if I felt ghosts or not, but you certainly feel something.
You feel like a presence or something.
You feel something there.
Yeah.
No doubt about it at all.
My friend, we felt that up at Lexington and Concord and all that up there. We just go up there in the evening sometimes, just sit and, kind of hang out and look around. It's a really good experience. getting back to those Y2K expos, like I said, we passed out a lot of your information. We used a lot of the information from your book.
Yeah, but it doesn't do any good. These people are still listening to the same people.
Yeah, I know.
And they still believe every word that they say. It doesn't, because here's the reason why. You're talking to the walking brain dead.
Yeah.
They are already casualties. They just don't know it.
Yeah.
They're casualties.
What's it going to take?
They should be under a sheet.
What's it going to take to wake these people up, though?
Well, see, that's the problem. We have to learn a lesson from Jesus. Jesus never tried to wake anybody up that didn't want to be awakened.
Yeah, I guess you're true there, yeah.
See, stop trying to wake up the walking brain dead. Talk to the ones who want to listen.
Yeah.
Or just talk. And if somebody stops and listens, that's fine.
Well, I find myself
Don't even be concerned about the people who walk on by.
Yeah, I find myself even doing that when I'm out and about, like doing my grocery shopping or something. It's weird how you get in a conversation about something where the conversation leads, you know.
That's true.
It's, you don't know how you affect those people.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like you tell two friends and so on, you know, like that one commercial.
Well, it's true, and I talked about that years ago when I started this broadcast.
Yeah.
You know, this is like let me see, this is like the 8th year of the hour of the time. And a long, long time ago, when I first began doing this broadcast, I told people, it's about education. And the biggest job that we have before us is educating vast numbers of people. So just go out and talk about what you hear after you have verified that it's true.
Yeah.
And give people proof if they want it, and it will spread. And it did. It really did. When I started, I couldn't get 3 people in a living room in Podunk, Iowa, to even help me pay for my travel expenses. But they would sit down and listen to me and look at me like I was crazy. Before I stopped my speaking tours, I could fill the Salt Dome. And a few years before, you couldn't even get the Salt Dome to consider even having you there speaking.
Yeah. Well, we saw you speak up in Syracuse when you were in Syracuse. Me and Mike, I don't know if you remember us.
Oh yes, I do.
Yeah, that's us.
We sat in the lobby of the motel.
And took up a lot of your time in the lobby. We were
hung out
with your cordialness. And
yeah, well, we hung out for a while.
Exactly. We really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Wish we could have stayed the second day.
Well, listen, I got to let some more people get in here.
Okay, Bill. And God bless.
Nice to hear from you.
Hang in there, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, God bless. Bye.
520-333-4578 is the number. Thank you for calling. Yeah, I certainly do remember hanging out with you guys there in the lobby of the motel for a couple of hours and talking and stuff. And, the people in Syracuse treated us so wonderfully. And it was the black student body of Syracuse University who invited me to speak and took care of me and paid for the hotel and showed us around and everything. They were wonderful, wonderful people. Good evening. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I enjoyed your little piece on Quaviette.
Thank you.
It put me right back there. I was there in 1969.
You were there in 1969?
I was at Dong Ha, and we used to go up the Quaviette to the beach to go swimming with all the sea snakes.
Yeah.
And when they pulled the 3rd Marine Division out, they brought us up to that base. We spent the night there at the base. They took our guns away from us.
That's when we were leaving Vietnam. Yeah.
Right, 1969. And I could see it.
Oh, we didn't leave.
You described it. It was.
We didn't leave till later. I mean, that's when you were personally leaving Vietnam.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm feeling goosebumps. I'm getting chills now just talking to you because you were there.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I mean, it was just like I was going down the river, up the river again.
Oh, wow. Well, this is a very important moment for me because you're the first person since I left there that I've ever spoken to who was ever there. So,
well, I'm glad that you turned out the way you did.
Well, thank you very much, very, very much.
A wonderful job for the people of the country, whether most of them realize it or not. There was 4 of us in my unit that we were very tight, and one of them's dead now, and two of them's on 100% disability. But I guess I'm the only one that turned out. I'm a vice president of an electric company.
Well, congratulations. Have you been to the wall?
Yes, I have.
And
we went.
What was
carried my family to Washington. We spent a week up there one time.
What was your reaction when you went up to the wall?
I tell you what, Bill. I didn't realize it. I didn't make the connection. But when we went there, it was Father's Day. And that was just. I mean, you could just feel the grief. You could feel the pain, and you know, there was all these little pictures and Father's Day cards.
What you really mean is that you could feel it.
I could feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could feel it.
Nobody else seems to feel that. I mean, people are sort of stunned by it and they're impressed by it, but Vietnam veterans, for every Vietnam veteran that I know that was really in Vietnam and really experienced combat, sort of breaks down when they walk up to that wall.
Yeah, it just pulls it right out of you.
Yeah.
It really does.
I cried like a baby. And there was nothing I could do about it. Nothing whatsoever. It was beyond my control period.
I know exactly what you're talking about. But I did want to tell you, man, you just really touched me tonight. It was just, my wife brought me a new shortwave radio, and I just started listening to it. I was just flipping around and happened to catch the show. And,
did you recognize where I was talking about before I said where it was?
Yes, I did.
It's not hard, is it?
Oh, no. We had we used to cross the DMZ all the time.
Oh man, this is. I want to thank you so much for calling, and
I want to thank you. I've often wanted to put my experiences into words.
Oh, please do, because nobody's ever done about that place. Nothing has ever been written about that area of the war except one book that I know of that was written by a bunch of Marines that were up a little bit north of Hoa Viet and Dong Ha, much closer to the DMZ where the fire bases were. And that's the only book that I've ever read, and it really puts you in their shoes, but it doesn't connect with where we were at and what we were doing. And somebody needs to do it. I'm trying, but every time I get into that book and try doing what I need to do to make it where I can put it out where people could read it.
Yeah.
It just causes me such great pain and so many memories and a lot of tears. It's really hard for me to deal with it.
Oh, I can understand that.
Really, really difficult.
I can understand it completely.
But I'm going to do it.
Well, I hope you do, because you've got a very good start to it.
Well, thank you so much.
And I'm going to get off here and give someone else a chance to talk. But
well, my friend, you're my brother, and you brought some tears to my eyes tonight, but good tears.
Well,
if you know what I mean. I mean, I'm so thankful that you called. You're the first hand that's reached out to me from that place since I left there so many years ago, and I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much for what you do.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for calling. Oh, I hated to hang up on that call. 520-333-4578. Yeah, my eyes are damp. No doubt about it. Good evening, you're on the air.
Hello, Bill. I'm a brand new listener, and how glad I am that I tuned you in tonight.
Well, thank you.
I wanted to let you know that there's no way any of us that were left at home could understand what you guys went through. But our hearts were breaking, too. I had a good friend that came home that found that his wife was pregnant when he got off the plane. Senator Max Cleveland is a dear friend, and, of course, Max lost both legs and an arm. And I had a cousin also that came back and just could not adjust to life in America anymore and is now a drug addict. So we've lost a lot, too, and our hearts just go out to you. We're so sorry that so many people didn't seem to understand. And just God bless you.
Well, thank you so very much. You know, I personally, when I went to fight in Vietnam, I believed that I was fighting for this country and for the Constitution and for freedom and all that stuff. Okay. When I got there and I really understood what was happening, it was a civil war between the Vietnamese, and we really didn't belong there.
I understand that.
And we all wanted to do something really good, and we were really betrayed by our own government. I mean,
yes,
we could have.
It's such a shame. I pray never again will we get in a war where we can't go in and fight and win. And we have one coming up that we are going to fight and win.
Yes, ma'am. And I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
There's going to be a civil war in this country, and it's not far off.
You are so right. But God bless you, Bill, and keep up the good work. People are listening. I'm a new convert, so you're getting out there.
Well, thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you very much. 520-333-4578 is the number. And if you'd like to get in here, you're welcome. Boy, I sure would like to hear from some more people who served in Qua Viet in Vietnam. Good evening. You're on the air.
Hi, Bill.
Hi.
This is Bruce in Omaha.
Hi, Bruce.
I never made it to NAM, but as close as I got was Clark Air Base. I'd sit in the back seat of a B-47 checking out the ARC-65. If I could get Consanute or if I could get Cadena, we'd have a good radio.
Yeah.
Call over there and ask them how the mortar report was. At Consanute, light to variable mortars, that sort of thing. But no, I never did make it in country. But I went to the roving wall. Came to Omaha one time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help myself either. I never made it in the country, but I looked through those names and I just blubbered like a baby.
You had some connection there.
Well, when I was at Clark and Weather, I was working on those WBs. Before I'd go to work in the morning, I'd come in from the hotel downtown. I'd go down to the base ops and eat breakfast. Excuse me. And there'd be these guys coming off Delta and Braniff and things like that, and Eastern on the way in the country.
Uh-huh.
And stretching their legs for the plane to be refueled. And the cafeteria would fill up there at the terminal, and these guys would come and sit at my table. And I remember this one Army guy in his uniform with a Polish or Czechoslovakian name or something, very, very unusual name. And he was sitting at my table, and I said a few words to him. And a couple weeks later, in Pack Half Stars and Stripes, there was a list of KIAs at Yadrang, up in the valley.
Uh-huh.
And that name just jumped out at me.
Wow.
Kid hadn't been in the country 2 weeks.
Well, that happened to a lot of people.
That's right.
And that sort of started a little myth. You didn't get to know the new guys, and you sort of stayed away from the old guys.
Yeah.
Because if anybody's going to get killed, it's going to be the new guys or the guys that were just getting ready to go home.
Got it.
And but that's not really true. It did happen to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But the myth, and it caused a lot of guys to really be in units on sort of kind of a lonely basis for a while until people realized that they weren't going to get them killed. And
you didn't want to make a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Everyone in this country knows that there is something wrong. They can feel it in their gut, but they can't put their finger on it. They can't identify it. They don't know what it is. They don't understand how a trusting people can be so easily subverted and manipulated. Our country is in the process of being destroyed. Not from a great enemy from without, not from the evil empire, not from Saddam Hussein. It's coming from within, folks. From within. We are being destroyed by our own apathy, abdication of our power as a people. Remember, of, for, and by the people. You can't have of, for, and by the people if the people don't participate. It's impossible. It cannot be done. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
I have this crazy dream about some folks who love this country, who all began to dream the same dream. And when the morning came, there arose across this nation people thinking one and the same. And they awoke to find their freedom and all their liberties had gradually been taken away.